Todd's always said that quarterback was Manny's job. Just what did he do from the start of camp to where he is now to kind of stay on top of that?
Well, I think his work ethic has been consistent. I think he's done a really good job being a student of the game. I think he's growing as a leader. I think he's coming to grips with what that entails and how critical that is of that position, you know, in terms of where we want to go on offense. It's going to have a lot to do with his growth as a leader. So I think we've seen that probably in the last 7 or 10 days. He's grown up in that area. There's a certain sense of respect that has to be associated with that position. And he's got to establish credibility by being consistent. And he really needs to set the standard in terms of how we prepare on offense. And I think he's done a good job of that so far.
Obviously, last year he had trouble staying healthy. That's an emphasis, he said, Coach Graham said. How have you helped him with that, or what advice have you given him?
Right. Well, I think we've started in the offseason with a plan of attack just to kind of really attack those areas where he's got issues, you know, whether it be in the offseason program, working on shoulder stability, core strength, lower body, flexibility and power, you know, just an overall year-round plan for his development. And I think he's seen the benefits of that. So, you know, the key is going to be his discipline in terms of sustaining that. And then I think he's got to manage the game better. I think he's got to take risk and just be calculated about when he takes those risks. So I think, you know, you can overcoach that to some degree as well. You know, he's got a little bit of that in him. He likes to attack. He's aggressive, and you want to use that to your advantage and control that and channel that the right way. And I think that's the key.
So you have to straight talk about the competition being really close between the two quarterbacks. Is the two-quarterback system something you see yourself entertaining maybe down the road, or is that something that's really off the table?
Well, it's not off the table, you know, because I think we've got two really good players. You know, I think we got two young men that can play winning football, and I think they both have a good comprehension of what we're trying to do. They both have their strengths and their weaknesses, but at the same time, Manny's got more experience. But Blake's got a lot of upside, you know, and he's got great arm talent, and I think he's growing in terms of his understanding. But it's not off the table. A lot of that's going to have to do with the competition that we're experiencing every day. And they know that. The communication's been good in terms of that. So we're evaluating not only the quarterback position, we're evaluating every player at every position on our offense to see who can be consistent in their approach. And the big message with our players on offense right now is consistency and performance. You know, you want to be valuable to me as a coordinator and to our coaches on offense. We need to know what we're going to get each day when you show up. So we're lacking in areas. There's certain young men on our team that need to really take another step in those areas. But then we also got several young men that are doing a good job. So we're work in progress, and most football teams are. I tell them all the time, every team in America's got a set of problems. It's who manages those problems the best and who prepares the best to manage those as we approach the game.
From a character standpoint, Manny really gels and connects with his players. How do you see his relationship on the field, especially helping guys who really need that extra coaching staff?
Well, I think that's one of the areas he's really growing in. I think that's one of the areas that we're really trying to work on. You know, I think even within a practice or a meeting or time off the field, there's a way that you go about doing that, you know. And I think that he is a young man who can gel and mesh with lots of different types of people. And I think that's one of his strengths. So he's a work in progress in those areas. I think he knows that's an area where he can make improvement. He also knows it can be a huge advantage for him, you know. So he's doing a good job in those areas, and we're going to continue to work on those. And that will never be an unfinished product. You know, I think the quarterback position in any player, it's a developmental game in a lot of areas, not just your physical skill set, but the intangible part. It never ends. It's an ongoing battle. So in general, we're going to continue to fight that battle, and I think he's doing a good job in that area.
You call tight end the jack of all trades in your offensive have kind of since you came here. What are you finding with the different ways that you can use J.J. Wilson based on his skill set?
Well, I think that in that position group, whether it be the other running backs that have a good skill set, or JJ, Tommy, and a number of other guys. Nick Ralston fits in that category as he gets healthy and we get him back. So, you know, that when you start to inventory fundamentals that they're responsible for, you know, concepts that they must understand, whether it be runs, passes, protections, those guys have got a lot on their plate, and they've got to be some of the best students of the game that we have. You know, so more than ever, you know, as we approach a game and we narrow down a game plan, those guys have got to be really disciplined in their approach.
Coach, you mentioned Ralston. What's his status going to be like if we put for the opener?
Well, he did work today. You know, I think today was the first day in a while that he actually got some quality work. So he's getting closer and closer to being 100%. Is he 100% ready yet? Right now, no, but he's able to get out there and get some reps and get a good comprehension of what we're trying to do.
Coach, how many receivers do you plan on going for the opener, or have you guys discussed that yet?
I think we're still making decisions in that regard. I know for sure that we've got 5 guys that we feel good about. Whether or not there's a 6th or 7th guy, I think that's a work in progress. But I do think we've got some talent there. The key is going to be, you know, as we go forward, can they clean up their game, more attention to detail, more self-discipline. At that position, there's a great amount of attention to detail and self-discipline required to take care of your body, to have a good understanding as the concepts change week in and week out. So it's not only what we're doing, it's what the other team is doing, you know, and how we fit those two together. So we got a good group there. Their attitude has been good. We were much better today. I thought we were a little bit lethargic yesterday, but today was a really good football practice.
Going back to Ralston, I know that his absence has given Benjamin and Traylon Smith more looks. I know that Benjamin is all about the lock, not the red shirt. But Traylon Smith is one of those guys that gives you a good problem to look at. Does his prospects for this year as far as red shirt are not depending on the health of Nick Ralston?
Well, Traylon, I think he's going to be ready to play. You know, he's even started to catch up a little bit, you know, just in terms of he's flashed and really shown, hey, he might just have the maturity to handle this opportunity. So Traylon's done a good job, you know, and he's a little bit different than Eno because he got here in the summer. But I think that group in general, all those guys, you know, can expect to play, and special teams is a huge area for each one of those guys as individual players. So all of those guys are up with us. They're preparing to play as we speak. So until something changes, I would expect all those guys to play.
Throughout camp, which work have you seen make the biggest improvement?
Well, I think overall every position has seen tremendous growth. You know, I know I've talked a little bit in the past about our receiver group. I felt like that group, just in terms of what we're trying to do and our expectation, Coach Likens and myself, I think they've really made drastic improvement overall. But each individual position group and unit has done a really good job. And that is not finished by no means, you know, and there's a lot to be said for when you put a game plan in and you start really zeroing in on the attention to detail to everything that we're trying to install and prepare to attack the other team. You know, that's where you really find out, hey, is a guy game ready? You know, and that's the thing, game ready. We're close to being there, and we got to continue to work.
How has Blake responded to running with that 17 and being the backup?
I think he's done really well with it. You know, I think he's a quality young man with great character. I think he understands the team concept, and he's been through these situations in the past. So he's got 3 years to play, and obviously the competition is ongoing. So I think he's controlling what he can control, and that's how you practice, how you prepare, your film study, your attention to detail and focus in the meetings. And then each rep you get, you got to make the most of those reps. And that's been his approach, and that's exactly what his approach should be.
I know competition in every position is still an ongoing process. Would you feel offensive line has settled in starting five?
We're close. You know, I don't know that we are 100% sure about that right now, but I think that'll be week to week, every week. I'll be honest with you. You know, until we you know, we got 5 guys that we know exactly what we're getting every day when they show up. It'll be ongoing. So we've got good flexibility there. I like that group. I think they've made progress, and I think Coach Sale's done a tremendous job with that group.
Going back to Manny, he said yesterday he has a lot of film study been able to do it. That's something he didn't have film this much film until last year.
Right.
Going into last season, how much did that help? Having that amount of film study?
Right. Well, I think I always equate it to chess. Okay, so do you play chess? Okay, so if you walked up on a chessboard and the game was about halfway over and you looked at it, you would have no clue what's happening right there, right? But if you're 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-year veteran of chess and you walk up on the game, then you're looking at that board, you kind of know what's happening. Does that make sense? So that's where he's at. You know, now I understand conceptually what they're doing on defense, what we're trying to do on offense. Until you got a language you can speak, then, you know, it's like moving to Japan and you're not fluent, right? You're walking around, you got no clue what's going on. But once you start to have a language, then it all starts to make sense to you. So that's where he's at. You know, he's got a language that he speaks, and I think more than ever he's starting to understand conceptually what's going on out there. Thank you.